Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody dates a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Isn't it lovely?
Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me. I guess I can say this now. I am Hall of Famer Professor Bear, and welcome to A Bear's Thought. And today's show is sponsored by Chops, Cards, and Print. Excuse me, I partied a little bit too much, so I'm a little off. But hey, you need trading cards, you need work done. Chops Trading Card is the place to get it done. You can have your own set of trading cards. Yes, if you work for a promotion, if you're a wrestler and just want to be able to get your own out there, Chops Trading Card is the best place to get it from. Plus, if you listen to old Professor Bear, you can get 15% off your entire purchase. Yes, just put in the code Bear15. That is Chops Trading Card and Print on. Okay, Chops, please don't kill me. I will promise I'll be sober on the next go around. Now, with all that being said, I have a special guest with me. Today I have Adam Eaton. Adam, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here.
Man, I'm glad to have you here. So, tell myself and my fans a little about yourself.
Okay, well, I've been in the business. I think I'm going on three years now. It's been a crazy journey. My my background is in education. I'm a teacher. I was a basketball coach for the last 15 years, but I just stepped down to focus more on wrestling. And my kids, I got kids. They're starting to become of age to play sports. So I was coaching high school, but I stepped down to focus more on the wrestling aspect and helping my kids in their sports journey.
That is cool. That is cool. So, okay, let's start with this. What got you into wrestling?
Wrestling's always been a part of me. From what my mom tells me is I've been watching since I was 2 years old because it's just always been on. And the family at the time they were watching it, at the early 90s, at the end of Hogan's run, the start of Bret Hart's run, stuff like that. And so it's always been there. And even when people started falling off and not watching it so much in the mid 90s, I never faltered. I continue to watch it. And it's just always been that constant in my life, through all the stuff that I've been through, having to move a lot or people coming in and out of the life. Wrestling has always been that one thing, that one constant that I could count on. And so I've just always stuck with it.
Well, right there, we have a lot in common. I tell people the same thing. There's not been a time in my life that I hadn't had wrestling. So I definitely understand.
Right. And the thing about it too, there was maybe like a year and a half, 2 years at most where I wasn't watching it. But when I came right back into it, like, it's like you never left, right? It forgives you. Like if you fall off here or there, like even more recently, I stopped watching AEW for a while, and then once I got back into it, it's just like, hey, welcome back type thing. Like it's always there, it's always forgiving, it's always welcoming.
Yes, very true. So with you growing up with wrestling in the 90s, who was your favorite wrestler?
There's a lot. It's hard to pick one. Um, but like right now, off the top is Bret Hart, probably because I'm wearing a Bret Hart shirt. But Bret Hart was the guy, was he was the man for a while. Growing up, he was the champion, like most of the childhood. Was a WWE guy, WWF mostly, but I love me some WCW, so don't get me wrong. But and then if we go heels, like I gotta look at Piper. I always loved me some Piper, and then Jericho was big. And if I go right now, though, it's weird. The top guy, I might have to say is Diamond Dallas Page, especially right now because when I started in the business, I'm about the age that he was when he started wrestling, right? So he was about 35 when he made it big time, when he started training and stuff. And that's about the same age when I started training. He's always been a big part of my life. And now it's even more because of the age similarity there.
Right. That makes definitely makes a lot of sense. But I'm gonna tell you something that you may or may not know about Dallas. Did you know Dallas started in the late 80s? He was a manager in AWA for the World Tag Team Champions. At the time was a bad company.
Yeah, I know his start was like management and stuff, but where the wrestling training part of it, like I
Right.
think he tried to start when he was younger and it didn't work out, if I remember correctly. But when
Yep.
he fully like went in, he was about 35 years old. And so it's just a similar thing to me. I went the college route, got the education and all that before I got into it. So it's similar, but he's always like, even for a while when he kind of fell off there after his run in the WWE and he wasn't really doing much. I always wondered, like, why is nobody talking about Page like we talk about like the other legends? Because to me, he was always like, he should be on that pedestal. He should be there. And he never got the respect that I felt he deserved until like, the recent, probably like the last decade. And I think that's more to do with the DDP yoga, which is a great program. And now everybody's going back and showing his love. But for a while, it was just like, why is Page not getting the love he deserves?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. It's a funny thing. A lot of times and this is just, of course, my personal opinion. There's a lot of wrestlers that are legends that really don't get the love and the talk, don't get talked about the way they should. And like you said with Dallas, man, he's definitely changed wrestling with his DDP yoga and helped save so many people's lives and helped them tremendously that he was already a legend and he's gone to a whole different level of legend.
Yeah, he's great. And then another one that comes to mind on that same kind of level would be D'Lo Brown. I love D'Lo Brown. I love the head nod, everything he did. And I was like 10, 12 years old at the time in the Attitude Era when he was big, but something always drew me to D'Lo, and I feel like he's another one that not a lot of people talk about unless like like if you know type thing with D'Lo, and those ones that know, like it's that connection there between the fans.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get into your journey to decide to train as a wrestler. So, as like you said, you have your education and you were a teacher. What was the transition from being a teacher to, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this.
So my journey is interesting. I was, let's see, around so during COVID, right? A couple of my friends started doing like their online. We started creating shows on YouTube with the wrestling video games like WWE 2K or something. And what we did was we created all of our friends, and I had two friends using WWE 2K, and I used Fire Pro Wrestling. I created all my friends, and then we would commentate the matches and put it on YouTube, and then I started streaming and stuff. So I kind of got more involved in that kind of like video editing, the process of everything, and all of that. And then when I remember, I went to Bound for Glory 2020, Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2020 in Las Vegas. And it just something clicked. I had been to wrestling shows all my life. I've been to a WrestleMania. I've been to a Royal Rumble. I've been to the Big Four. I've been to like 4 or 5 SummerSlams, Survivor Series, War Games. Like I've seen it all. But something about being at Bound for Glory in 2020, and then a month later, I turned around and went to Turning Point in Vegas. And that's a 4-hour drive for me. I went to Turning Point, and something just clicked where I'm like, yo, I'm getting older. I have to try. Like, I have to try to get involved, because everything I've set out to do in my life, I've accomplished. And this is the one thing that, like, I haven't tried. I haven't done anything. So some personal stuff happened in my life. And it presented an opportunity for me to move. I was living in a place called Bakersfield, California, and something came up, and I had the opportunity to move up north into the Sacramento area, Sacramento, California. Right now, I'm about like 40 minutes outside of Sacramento, like north. But when that opportunity came up, there's a number of wrestling organizations around here. I went to one show. I went to a Next Level Pro Wrestling show. And then I reached out to a company called Action Coast Wrestling, and had a meeting with the owner. And he was like, yeah, come on. I'll help you. You could do, help on social media, help at the events with tickets and stuff like that. And then that's kind of where it started. That's how I got in, basically there.
That's cool. So you just started out helping as far as tickets, etc., etc. What was the next phase of your journey then?
So yeah, I started out with tickets. I started out with making graphics, match graphics, card announcements, stuff like that, video edits. I was doing like my own little shows about like the card coming up, and editing that and talking about it, and just posting like little clips on social medias to promote. And so then what happened, me and a couple of friends that we met through wrestling, because remember, I moved up, I moved 4 hours away from my house, from my home, from all my friends, moved up here. I had a couple family up here that I was staying with, but I had no friends. So we met some friends. I met some friends through wrestling. We started our own show, our own YouTube show for a while there. And we were interviewing wrestlers after the shows. And I had fun doing that. So we'd go to all these shows and we would interview the wrestlers about, whatever their match that night or what they have going on. And, it was fun. So then I reach out to Next Level, because they had gotten to know me after, working with Action Coast, and then going to their monthly events and doing the interviews and stuff like that. So I asked them, I was like, hey, you guys have a show. Do you guys use backstage interviewers? And they're like, yeah, we did. But the one, he just like quit like last month or something like that. Why do you want the job? I said, yeah. They're like, okay, this was on a Thursday. They said, you start Saturday. Like,
wow.
Okay, like, here we go. And so then that was 2 years ago. So that was 2 years ago in April. So I just completed 2 years as a backstage interviewer at Next Level Pro Wrestling, the longest running backstage interviewer. at Next Level. Um, and so there was that, and that's how I got in. That same show, they asked me to do commentary at the next show. I did commentary for a couple months there. And then I had research something that I didn't end up using it for. It was like at another show, and I was like, okay, I'll get one, but they didn't use me. So talking again to them during the show, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a ref shirt. They're like, you have it? You have one? I was like, yeah. They're like, you have it with you? I was like, yeah. They're like, all right, well, you're reffing tonight because we just had one put in his notice that he's quitting, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. So then from there, I refed one match on that show. Then we had a charity event the next week that I refed. Then we had, I think it was like a women's show the next week. But like from that day, it was like a run of like 7 weekends in a row that I was refing. One of the shows I refed like 6 matches by myself. It was insane, and that's how I got in it. But as soon as I became like the backstage interviewer and the commentator, I was like, hey, I think I need to learn a little bit more, so let me start going to training. And Next Level Pro Wrestling, we have the Pro Wrestling Academy in Sacramento, and so I started going there just so I could learn a little bit, because I wanted to make sure that I was understanding stuff that was happening, right? Like,
Right.
I know the moves and stuff from, watching. We all know the names of the moves, but to learn the little aspects, the storytelling, and why we're doing this move and why we're doing it here and there, and all that little stuff that we think we know, but we don't know until we're there. So then that's when I started training, and then I was like, took a bump. I was like, yo, I can do this. And then it just kind of progressed from there. Started training more as a ref, started training more as a wrestler to understand a little bit more. That also helped me as a ref and understanding, predicting what positions to be in, because I can read the matches better because I've been there. And yeah, that's how I started. I always say that I started in reverse. Don't go my route. That's not the route to go. I got lucky, and even I know it. That's why when it happened to me, I'm like, oh wait, I need to get better, because there's a lot of people that worked really hard to get where I am at, and so I want to show respect. So I went and like made sure that I was getting better every time, and not just like, oh, I already have the job, I'm good. And that's kind of how it started for me.
Well, 2 things with that. One, I love that your story sounds so damn similar to DDP. I mean, really, the build, and you continue to get better at your craft. And I love that. The second thing, and honestly, the most important thing, is the respect you have for the business. That is, man, I cannot tell you how much that means to me. And I'm not a wrestler, but just to have respect and knowing that you are getting blessed to be in a business that we both love, and you don't want to show no disrespect to the boys and girls that came before you, and you want to get better at your craft. I salute you for that, because man, that is, you really don't know how many people, especially as fans like we are, don't really understand or put in the time to understand what the boys and girls go through to make us enjoy the sport that we love. So I salute you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Wrestling has given me so much. My 2 best friends, we met through wrestling, right? Like, they were friends of friends, and we were playing a football game at a Friday thing we did in high school. We all went and played football at a church, and I was running my mouth, doing all the wrestling slogans. And then one of my friends, one of them was like, "Hey, you watch wrestling?" And it was like the weekend before. It was the week before WrestleMania 19. And I was like, yeah. They're like, hey, you're gonna watch WrestleMania? And I was like, yeah, they're like, can we come through? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I got to talk to my parents because I got people coming. So if they don't show up, like, you could come. They showed up. WrestleMania 19. So what are we, 20 years later? And they're my best friends. Like, and that's how it started, was from that. And then most everyone else I talk to now on a like daily basis has been because we met through wrestling. So it's given me so much. So I have to respect it. And like yeah, I do understand my journey is weird. And so I see that, and but I don't take any of it for granted at all.
Yeah, so definitely. I'm glad to hear that. I feel the same way. It's just a blessing to be able to be in something that you truly love and you can give back to that business. It, it's nothing better than that to me. But with that being said, so with you training, have you officially had your first match yet?
I have not. I'm still training. Like I said, I ref. So like I've been doing two years now, or
Yeah.
going on 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September, I believe. As a ref, so I've had those official referee matches. Um, I was in a battle royal back in May. And that was like my first time uh wrestling in front of a crowd. It was a battle royal. I'm actually going to be in another battle royal on Saturday um, for Next Level Pro Wrestling. It's a charity show, Wrestling for Hope, to help with Victory Outreach here in Sacramento. So we'll be doing that, and I'll be in the battle royal. And actually, another thing I should be doing that day is managing. I'll be managing a tag team, and that would be my first time as a manager as well. And that's like that's the last thing. Wrestling in an actual match and being a manager are the last two things I need to check off on like the wrestling, like I've done it all list. Because I've done commentating, ring announcing, reffing, video production, editing, switchboards, music, ticket sales. Like I've done it all, and so like the only thing I is like those are the last two things, and I get to
Well,
check one off on Saturday.
I far from me to tell you about your list, but I think you're missing one important factor on that list too.
What's that?
Being a champion. What do we?
Yeah.
What do you get in the business for?
So the thing is, I'm and then that will be a new list. Like,
Ah, got you, got
so
you.
it's baby steps in the business. Like started with the ticket sales, started with the doing the music, then it was the ring announcing, and then the refereeing, and now the training, and video editing and all of that stuff. And so it's like that's what I originally went to the Pro Wrestling Academy for, was to learn the business, learn everything. One more thing I would need to put on that list is having a creative idea, like a story that I've written out, see that play out on the in the ring, on the screen, and not necessarily for myself, but for others. Like I want to write creative for like for others, like a storyline or something. That would be the only thing. So it'd be three things left to do, but I'm so close to checking off the next two, managing and wrestling. But I'll check them off. I'll end up checking them all off.
Um, so and I was trying while you were talking, I was trying to make sure I had his name, this gentleman's name right, and if y'all are in the same company, and I think so. Preston King.
Princeton King, that's my guy. Like we are close. Yes, he. was the ring announcer at Next Level Pro Wrestling when I started going to shows. And me and my friends would sit in the front row. And his name is Prince. He is a pastor in Stockton, California. And so we started chanting MVP every time he walked in the ring, because they're like most valuable Princeton, most valuable pastor, everything. And so now that's kind of stuck with him for the last couple of years. So he's the MVP, and he's now doing commentary at Next Level Pro Wrestling. But yeah, I work with Princeton. He's a good dude.
So Princeton was one of my, I think he was my third person I've ever did an interview with. And,
oh wow.
And what's even well, I don't find it funny now, but well, now I can. But I had reached out to him about doing it, and he was gracious enough, had a great conversation and everything. Well, how about I lost the video?
Oh man.
So I felt bad about it, and getting a little better at my craft. One day I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to start reaching out to people. And I turned around and found the video. So I had up to 10 different videos of different people. And I felt so bad for not putting it out. I reached back out to him to come back on and give me an update and everything. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we were supposed to do it, and I had some technical difficulties, so he couldn't be on. So I reached back out. I apologized tremendously to him. We are gonna get back on, but he's like, "Hey, you can," and I think he read a list that I put out of people that I was gonna have on. He's like, "Hey, Adam is my boy." Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that my mind was right on cue with it. He's such a good guy. And
yeah, he's such a good dude. Yeah, I saw that post. You tagged me in the post of like he's going to be on, and then I saw his comment, and I'm like, oh, hey, like that's cool, like because I had no idea. Neither of us had talked to each other about it, and so we just saw it on there, and I was just like, oh, that's awesome. So yeah, Princeton. He's a good dude.
Yeah. So with so you were saying that you have kids, and you wanted to put a little more time into the wrestling plus to help coach your kids and to see them excel into the sports they're getting into. I guess the big question, besides, what made you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a chance and put my all into the wrestling?
So I kind of mentioned it earlier. I had been coaching basketball for 15 years. I had won championships and tournaments, and like I'd done it all there basically. And it just got to the point where I was tired. Like I have a wife and kids. And basketball is a grueling season. There's always the debate of like what's tougher, basketball or football, right? And it's always this debate. And the game of football is more physical, right? And I get that. But when we look at high school basketball versus high school football, like football practices right after school, like from like 3 to 5, 3 to 6, and they go home. They play one game a week, and then it's 10 games a season on a Friday night. For basketball, I was practicing from 6 to 9 o'clock every night, Monday through Friday. We would go 2 hours on Saturday. We would have tournaments on weekends, so it'd be like Friday and Saturday nights. And then we're playing twice a week during league play. And so the total game schedule of a basketball season of a full schedule is 28 games. And that's a lot. And then it's like on a Wednesday night and we're not getting home till like midnight. And there was
Mm.
times where I worked and coached 30 minutes away from my house. We're not even getting back to campus till like 11:30. Then I got to drive home, not getting home till like midnight, 12:30 maybe. Then I got to eat. If we didn't eat, whatever, turn around, wake back up at 6 a.m., go back to work the next day, which is another, 30-minute drive, stay for practice, all that. So it wore me down. Like it just, and I'm not trying to take anything away from football either. I know I just trying to use a comparison of how grueling like the basketball schedule is, because I don't think a lot of people don't realize it because they just see the game, right?
Right.
And so I accomplished everything kind of that I set out to do. I did it. And I was like, I don't know if there's really anything more. I enjoy it, but it just got to the point where it got to the point where I didn't enjoy it anymore. It became more of a chore, and I would try to hype myself up for it, but I couldn't make it to the end of the season. I was just tired, and I was like, I can't wait for the season to be over. And this year I knew like it was the right time this year when I couldn't wait for the season to be over. But once it was over, I didn't want to come back. Because usually when it's over, give me 2 weeks and I'm like, okay, our spring training starts on this day. I didn't have a day. I was like, I don't know. Like I was just like, I don't care if we don't. And then that's when I knew, I'm like, yeah, I think it's time. And from there, I was just like, I moved up here to Northern California to pursue wrestling because there wasn't any opportunities in Bakersfield. So I moved north to pursue those opportunities. And when I first got up here, I wasn't coaching, so I had the opportunities. That's how I got into business. But then the coaching job came up and it aligned with the teaching job. And I took it because I felt like I needed to do what was right for my family. And wrestling went on the back burner, and that bothered me. And so then just like, yeah, it was just time. I was just, I've done it all here. I'm not looking forward to going back to coaching. And I think it's just time that if I do wrestling, I'm not training every night. Like, it's only a couple nights a week. I have my shows on Saturdays out, and I could do as many or as few as I want. Like, I go to every Next Level show. I go to every Action Coast Wrestling show. And that puts me at about twice a month, every month. If I want to do more, I can. If I want to be home with my wife and kids, I can. During basketball, it's just kind of like, oh, here's your schedule. There's not a lot of flexibility there. So it just worked out. I get to pursue a passion. I get to do something I've never done before, something I've always wanted to do. And I get to be home more with my wife and kids.
And I think that that tells a lot about you as a man. You're trying to live your dream, be a great father, a great husband, and I think that is always good to be a great role model to your kids. And also that shows how much faith and love that your family has in you to encourage you to pursue your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife is great. She's been supportive of it. She just wants the best. She's not a wrestling fan. None of my kids are wrestling fans. As much as I've tried, they just won't accept it. But they accept me, and they accept my fandom and my passion for it. And so that's what counts, right? And I hope my kids get that too. And so whatever their interests are, like, we support that. I'm a basketball guy, and I do enjoy football, but my youngest son plays soccer. I'm like, I know nothing about soccer. Why? Where did this come from? Like, But when I stepped back and looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of me because nobody in my family played basketball. Like my grandpa and my uncles were football players. Nobody played basketball, but I did. And I'm like, oh, my son's kind of taking after me. Like, we got to go like on our own path. Like, but yeah, they've been great. And if I perform on a show, if I'm gonna like wrestle, like they'll go on Saturday to watch me in the battle royal. So they're there and they're supportive. They don't go to every show. Like if I go ref, they have watched me ref, but it's not a like them going out of their way to do it, which is it's fine. But the big moments that I was like, hey, this is a big moment, they'll be there and support me. So it's great. I can't ask for more.
Yeah, that sounds so great. So what is the future for you, sir?
Well, the future is like I said, I got the battle royal on Saturday. I'm managing Saturday. And then it's just continue training and just continue to get better and hopefully have a match soon. We have a big these next 3 weekends are huge. They're huge for me because they're big shows. Saturday is a charity show, but it's a big show for myself because of everything that I'll be doing and I'm involved in. Next Saturday, Next Level Pro Wrestling has their biggest show of the year, which is all steel cage match shows. I think we have about 6 or 7 matches, and they're all inside a steel cage. Think TNA Lockdown. But it's basically our WrestleMania, and that's next Saturday on the 26th, right? And then Action Coast Wrestling, their anniversary show, it will be in Pacheco, California on August 2nd. And again, it's an anniversary show. Always the anniversary shows are the big events. And that's what I have. That's what I have coming up. In December, this is I announced this back in May. This is first time. This has never been done before, ever. But I'll be in what is called the Chaos Rumble for Next Level Pro Wrestling. It's basically our Royal Rumble. And I am the first participant to declare for that because it's 6 months away. And like, why is it 6 months? Well, because as an interviewer, the story was everyone's been disrespecting me at the Pro Wrestling Academy. And so I got tired of the disrespect. And so I am going to basically take everyone else's opportunities away from them since I'm tired of giving them opportunities to talk to me and the crowd as an interviewer. And I'm going to, throw them all over the top rope at the Chaos Rumble. So that's what's planned for the future right now. Hopefully like in between there's some other stuff pops up, but I can tell you that in December I'll be in the Chaos Rumble.
That is all right. Man, I hope you are able to throw everybody over the top rope and show them that you are no person to take lightly.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. I just try to do interviews. I just you know what it's like to be a journalist, like interviewing people. Like you want to be disrespected when you're giving people an opportunity to talk about themselves. It's been going on for 2 years, so I have to show them in December.
If you don't stand up for yourself, who's going to?
Exactly.
Well, I am so glad. Do you have any social medias that you would like to plug?
So I actually have a lot. You can there's 2 of them because I do have you pull the curtain back a little bit. I have 2 characters that I play and they're twins that don't like each other. So it's interesting. But Roy_F_Kennedy. So Roy F Kennedy. You could find that on Instagram and TikTok. Roy Kennedy. And then the other one, I think it's just on Instagram, is Ray_F_Kennedy. They're both there. So Roy and Ray Kennedy. And then Facebook, Roy Kennedy is on Facebook. I ran out of things, so I couldn't create a Ray Kennedy. But Roy Kennedy is on Facebook. Go ahead and add that. That's like more of my wrestling focused thing besides like my personal accounts. But yeah, if you search Roy_F_Kennedy, you'll find that on Instagram and TikTok, and then from there you should be able to find the others.
That's cool. Now, both promotions that you work for, can we find them on do they have a web page or
yeah, actually they both have web pages. Next Level is nlpw.net. I forget ACW Action Coast Wrestling is acwlive.com. All right, so nlpw.net, acwlive.com. Those are both their web pages. Their social medias will be linked there. You could find them all on social medias, Facebook, Next Level Pro Wrestling, Action Coast Wrestling, Instagram, Next Level Pro Wrestling, I think Action Coast Wrestling. They're all there. I do have to shout out, though, Next Level Pro Wrestling airs weekly on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, because we're on the West Coast. So sorry, we go with our time zone. Pacific time on Zebo TV, which you could find if you have a Roku device. You just search for Zebo TV on the app. It's on there. Or you can go to zebo.tv on like your web browser. And we have new episodes every Thursday. You could also catch up and watch the backlog on demand. It's all on there in order to go catch up on that. So that's zebo.tv or Zebo on your Roku device.
Cool. So I didn't ask this question, but I know you have a little more time now. Do you watch a lot of different wrestling?
I try to. I stay caught up with the WWE. I've been watching AEW a lot more recently because I just went to Revolution in March. It was down in LA. I still got family in Bakersfield. We took the 6-hour drive from where we live to Bakersfield, dropped my kids off. Me and my wife continued down to Revolution in LA. And so I started watching AEW to get caught back up because, I like to check things off my bucket list. And I wanted to go to an AEW pay-per-view. So check, right? So I do try to stay caught up with the American promotions. I don't watch too much overseas anymore. I tried to watch New Japan like back in like 2017 when it was big, but it's just got too hard to follow for me because coaching, it got too much. But even now, like, it's still hard to stay caught up on everything. I'll miss an episode here and there. I kind of watch Raw like every week. I don't really miss Raw. SmackDown's like if I have time, then I'll catch it. Same with AEW and Impact. But I try to follow so I know what's going on. I'll watch the pay-per-views so I stay caught up. But it gets difficult. And then as a trainer or as a trainee, sorry, not a trainer, as a trainee, I'm also studying stuff. So I'm watching a lot of old tapes, or we call them tapes. My age is showing, right? But I'll watch a lot of old events and I'll go back. So I still watch a lot, but sometimes it's hard to keep up with current stuff. It comes on, it's on every night of the week. So it gets difficult.
No, I definitely understand considering where I got my nickname Professor. I've watched so much wrestling, and then sometimes I get burned out, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna take this time and not watch, and trying to
Yeah.
watch so many different shows, and I've gotten very more into indie wrestling, and I love it, and I get to see firsthand. It can be so overwhelming. So I definitely understand
Yeah.
what you're talking about. And then
And that's go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and then I get to talk to great people like yourself, and then I want to check out your promotions, and then it's like, damn, oh man, I missed this one. I can't get this one in. So no, I get it.
Yeah, it gets hard, and it's funny because when I was in Bakersfield, there's no indie promotions around, so I was always like not interested in indie wrestling at all. I'm just like, why would I watch that when I could watch like the WWE? Like that's the end all be all. Like WWE, Impact Wrestling, WCW, all that. I'm like, why? Like I don't really care about any of it. But then when I moved up here and I went to a show and I'm like, I switched that mindset. Um, I was like, wait, if I watch this differently than what I watch on TV, now I get it. And that's kind of what connected me. And for a while, I knew about all the promotions up here. I knew like who was going to be there, when they were having shows, like this and that. Like I knew all this stuff because I just like completely enthralled myself into it. And then it got to where I had my own stuff to worry about. I was like, I was coaching, and I was like, then I started doing a little bit more for Action Coast, and I did a lot. Well, like I'm doing a lot more for Next Level. I do like the old '90s the promo packages, the video
Oh
packages
yeah.
for like the matches. I create those for Next Level
Oh
Pro
okay.
Wrestling. Like I'll have a couple coming out next week to promote the big cage shows. So I do those, and so now I'm just like focused on the companies that I'm working for, and I don't really know what's going on outside. And it's not any disrespect to any of them, but like
You
I gotta
just
focus, right? Like
right. You're getting better at your craft, and you can't do
yeah.
that if you're not 100% focused. I mean, makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Um, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, to give me and my fans a little insight on your journey. And man, you have an open invitation whenever you would like to just come back on. We can talk more about your promotions, about you. We can do it all. Again, I am I'm definitely about pro wrestling. I'm trying not to say indie anymore. I'm about pro wrestling. And there's so many of you guys and girls out there that don't get a chance to tell your story, to get to let people, like I'm based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So a lot of people would not get a chance to know about California and learn about different styles of pro wrestling out there. So again, I'm very humble and very thankful for you to taking the time to bless my show, and hopefully we will be doing it again sometime soon.
Yeah, I appreciate this so much because like I mentioned, I started where you're at kind of by interviewing wrestlers and trying to help them get their stories out and all that stuff, and so I appreciate it so much. This is fun. Like I love doing these things. But yeah, I can't wait to be back. When I debut, I'll hit you up and hey, we'll talk about that, and closer to the Rumble, we'll talk about that. So, uh, yeah, I enjoyed this. This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Again, thank you for being here and taking that time. Um, Guys, girls, thank you so much for watching and being a part of my show. And quickly, I just want to do this one more time and thank everybody that was involved in the night that I got my Hall of Fame award. It means so much to me. It means the world to my family. And I know it means the world to my Father that's up in heaven. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And guys, we will be back once again in the force with Professor Bear with a Bear's Thought. Thank you so much.